I hope you're ready for this video because I know I'm not in any way. So before we get started, even though I feel like this could be assumed, I just want to make it very, very clear. Everything in this video is my opinion. It's not Disney's opinion. It's not the opinion of current or former cast members or performers or future cast members and performers. It's just mine, even though I think that there are a lot of people that might have a similar opinion. I will not claim that. This is my opinion. I guess if you're new to my channel and you have never seen any of my videos, I want to give a brief synopsis on my history with Disney, just because I feel like it's necessary for this video. I did the college program in 2015 and I was a character attendant. After that, I went to a couple different auditions, was hired on as a full-time performer and I did multiple roles in that. And when I was looking into the college program and performing and all those things, I had so many questions and I went on YouTube and I just Googled things. And I felt like there were some videos out there, but they really weren't helpful in helping me understand like what it was like, what I was getting myself into. So when I was with the company, I wanted to create videos. I also didn't want to lose my job. So I really waited until after I stopped working for the company and created my very first Disney video on how to be successful at performer auditions, just because that was the boat I was in before I started there. I felt like I had more knowledge on it and I really wanted to help other people achieve their dreams too. So that's always been the goal of my videos, is to help other people. So that's just a brief general synopsis of my videos that I do. I did work for Disney. I worked for Walt Disney World. And I worked as a performer and as attendant. So I feel like that gives me a kind of unique perspective on the entertainment department. Again, this is my opinion. This is not the opinions of everyone in that department as a whole. All that to say, there was a video that was posted. My friend texted me and was like, oh my gosh, this video, I'll just admit my friend was not happy with the video. I was in a meeting, so I couldn't really watch the video with the sound on, so I watched it with subtitles, and then I watched it a second time with the sound on, just to make sure I heard everything correctly. It was a video that Buzzfeed posted, and the title, let me look up the title because I actually want to make sure this is accurate. I don't want to say what it is and then be wrong. The title that Buzzfeed posted says, Disney princesses reveal secrets about Disney. So far it has 146,000 views, 9.2 likes, and 112 dislikes. It was posted today. Today's October 2nd, and I believe it was posted a couple hours ago, even though it doesn't say on my app when it was posted. So I'll admit there's some things I did like about the video, and I'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about the different questions, because I know there's some of you that don't want to watch the video, so I don't really want to force you guys to watch the video, if that makes sense. I know there's a lot of you that want to maintain the magic and don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is just talk about in general the questions they say and just kind of go over some of the responses. But if you want to see the video, you can Google it based off that name. But I do want to give my opinion on it because I feel like my opinion differs from that video. And the whole reason for me making this video, I really didn't want to, because a lot of my content is positive. Because there's so much negativity on YouTube, I don't really want to waste my time with negativity and promoting that and creating that. So I always try to promote positive and uplifting content. I posted to my Instagram stories just like a little question saying like, what are your guys' thoughts? And I was really surprised at how many comments there were from people saying I should make this video. So I'm gonna read a couple of those just because that is really what drove me to make this video. And I'll literally just read them, like just from my feed. I won't even pick and choose which ones I'm gonna read. I'm just gonna read them straight. This one says, it's upsetting that those are willing to ruin the magic are hired over ones who would never. I was upset when the one explained the meaning of being friends with someone, frowny face. This person, because I asked like, should I make a video, says, do it. It breaks my heart to see these people destroy, in caps, the integrity and trust of Disney. This person says, the fact that they totally shattered character integrity made me really upset. This person, that video made me really sad. This person, I agree with you 110%. As former performers, they should have known the importance of keeping the magic alive. This person, I haven't seen the video, but I know personally that working for Disney is incredible. This person, my heart sank when I saw it. I couldn't believe it. Literally, there are hundreds of comments from people saying, basically kind of agreeing what I was already thinking. I'll read ones that I found that don't really agree with me just because I want to give an unbiased opinion. This person says, I thought it was a cute video that shouldn't be taken to heart. And I said I can see that there were parts I thought were fun, but there was a lot of it that I can see causing problems for current cast members, which I'll get into. Most of it was fine, but Complain to the Right Person boils my blood because I'm the right person. So there were mixed feelings. There were some people thinking, oh, it's fine. Like, I think it's really lighthearted. I don't think it's supposed to be taken seriously. There's other people that are like, this is ruining the magic. So I do want to kind of discuss, for those of you who haven't seen the video, kind of what the video was about, and give a general synopsis. What I'm going to do is go through the different questions, give my opinion on it, and then summarize at the end what my opinion on a whole is when it comes to releasing videos like this. And just my opinion on it, because I feel like it is pretty gray. I feel like there's not a rule for what cast members, current or former, are allowed to post about their job on social media. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that were former cast members like years and years ago. There's some like me who were somewhat recent. There are some that are currently cast members. Amongst all of them, the opinions are so different, and what they were comfortable revealing are totally different too. So I hope you guys are ready. Get set down, I won't even say get the tea, get the popcorn, because for me, when I'm like interested in something, I eat lots of popcorn now and drink tea. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. Okay, so I'm gonna go through and watch the video a third time, and just go question by question, and I won't play the video for you guys. I'm gonna listen and then stop and respond, just because, again, I know there's some of you that really don't want to watch the video. I'm not gonna force you to watch the video, but I do want to give you some clarity on what the video is about in case you are curious. Well, first of all, they start off by saying, making a reference to princesses, making a reference to Me Too, and that they would agree with that. Personally, I would never speak on behalf of a princess, just because Disney created those characters. Disney owns the rights to that. I'm not gonna say that, oh, a princess would do this, because like that's not up to me, if that makes sense, even as a former performer. So the fact that she started off by saying the princesses would all agree with Me Too. Okay. The second sentence of the video is someone basically recreating the voice that they were trained to do when they were a performer, which is also something I've chosen not to do on my channel. I'll get into that later. The people that they interview, I'll just talk about that really quick. One is, his name is Tim. I don't know the names of the other people too yet. It says he's a former Disney employee, princess adjacent. But when learning about his job, I thought, oh, the first time I watched this, I thought he was a character attendant or a character host. He wasn't, so I'm not really sure what his job is.
Yes, that was my job, was basically just being like smiling and creepy security that just like...
He said his job was to be smiling and creepy security. Judging by his outfit, maybe some of you guys will know. I'm not really sure right off the top what his role was, but I'm sure some of you guys probably do a role similar to him. Honestly, just looking at the costume, I'm not really sure what his role was, but to me, it doesn't seem like he was in entertainment. So one of the cast members, her name is Jessa Lynn. She apparently worked for Disney in entertainment, and she was a performer and had 2 roles in that role. LaDawn also was in entertainment as a performer and had, it seems like, at least 1 face role. The next cast member is Aubrey. She reveals later on that she also was in entertainment and did a face role. She also discloses what friends with means, which I think is interesting, because I think that there is a lot of, again, this is my opinion, there are cast members and performers who want to share what their job is, because honestly, having the job as a performer is really, really cool, and it's really hard to keep a secret. For those that do, I don't know how they do it, because I, wanted to share with friends and family what I was doing, what I was up to, because that was my dream since I was a kid. And one of the ways around that is, I don't really know of anyone that says that they're friends with anymore, just because that's been decoded. I feel like that was decoded like years ago, so that to me is not like any sort of surprise. But the fact that she just goes on there and says what the codes that people use are is kind of sad, because there are people that do want to share about what their job is, and there are ways around it that they can still share, and I really do hope that this doesn't ruin it for current cast members who want to share about their adventures with their friends, because that is fun to share, and I think there are ways you can do that while still maintaining character integrity. And it is sad to me that she just, from the get-go, just explains that, because I feel like that kind of ruins it for current cast members, and I really truly hope that that doesn't actually ruin it for them moving forward. The first question they asked them, I actually think is kind of cool. It talks about what's the best time to go to Disney. This is what I think is really helpful for people, especially if you are just brand new to it, you have no idea when to go. I think this segment actually was really helpful, and I'm glad that they talked about that. So again, I didn't really hate the entire video. There were parts that I was just like, but there are some things in the video that were helpful. So they talk about different months and times of the year to visit Disney, which I can appreciate. Okay. So in watching this first question, there was a moment where the person says, this is what such and such character would say. See, it's hard for me. Something that's hard because I would never take the authority, and I'll explain this at the very end. I just feel like as a performer, I'm really not entitled to speak on behalf of the company, whether I am currently a performer or was a performer. I just feel like there's a lot of things I'm not entitled to say. For this person to just say, that's what so-and-so would say. Well, maybe when a guest meets that character, maybe they don't say that in that interaction. Or maybe they've never heard the character say that. So, ah, man, this is gonna be a fun video. So the second question they asked them are, what are secret places only cast members know about? And then they go and talk about the tunnels. I feel like the tunnels are not even a secret at this point. I think I've talked about them in previous videos only because I feel like it's widely known. I mean, I knew about that before I even started working at Disney, so I feel like that's not like a secret anymore. So them talking about that, just in general, talking about the tunnels, I just feel like it's like, that's not like ruining the magic only because like I feel like it's pretty wide known at this point. So the guy says, it's dark and creepy. There are creatures half in costume, half not. I don't think that's an accurate representation. Again, that's my opinion. And I feel like that paints a very different picture than what I experienced. So, okay, so the third, I think this is the third question they ask is, what can guests get for free? And at this point, I wasn't crazy about the video, and this is where I really started to not like the video. I think that they could have done this video in a very cute way that really wouldn't promote negativity. They could have said, you know, guests can get buttons for free if you go to the front of the park, because it's true. Any guest can go get a button for free saying that I'm celebrating this, and it's fun to wear those buttons because if you say that you're celebrating your birthday or an anniversary or your first visit, when you go and meet cast members or characters, not just characters, but like other cast members too, they can like talk to you about that. If it's your birthday, they'll say happy birthday to you, and it makes your experience so special. So I feel like they could have said stuff like that, like, oh, you can get buttons for free. But the things that they mention, I feel like are really, I'll talk about some of the stuff they say, and I'll say quotes too, just because I feel like it wasn't the best. It didn't go the way I was hoping it would, and it went in I feel like not a very good direction. The guy says, if you catch a cast member at the right point of a day, you can ask them for a fast pass and they will probably give it to you. I personally, again, my opinion, do not think this is true. I don't think Mickey Mouse is going to give you a fast pass. I don't think a character attendant is going to give you a fast pass, mainly because when I was a character attendant, I didn't have fast passes. If someone asked me for a fast pass, I might have just laughed. I don't think anyone in the food part, you know, merchandise will give you a fast pass. I think just saying that a cast member and generalizing it isn't true. Typically, the only people who can give those out are probably cast members that are rides and attractions, because they would maybe have those. And again, this isn't true for Disneyland, because Disneyland is now moving into a fast pass system where if you try to like, you can't even give anyone your fast passes anymore because the fast passes are attached to your park card. So this isn't even true for Disneyland. It's only maybe true for Disney World, and it's not all cast members. And the fact that you catch them at the right point in the day, like, what point is a good point? Because oh man, I can just see this causing so many problems for attractions cast members, because people might see this video, and because it's Buzzfeed, I know a lot of people are gonna see this video, and I really truly hope that they're not gonna get bombarded from people asking them for fast passes, because that's not their job to hand out fast passes to people. That's like sometimes what they do to make magic if someone's like upset or they wanna make their day extra special. This isn't if you catch them at a right point in the day, like, I don't know. Okay, this next one. Sometimes they do something where they will pick someone and they'll give you a free night in Cinderella's castle. I have not heard of anyone getting this. I even heard that, you know, it's very rare for even celebrities to get to go do that. So I don't think that that's even true anymore. I think they were doing that around the time that they were doing Dream Suites. If you guys remember that, that was like, oh my gosh, like 15 years ago now. That was a long time ago. But they were doing like, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but I think it's like A Million Dreams Come True. They were giving away different things, and that's when they started to give away Knights in Cinderella's Castle Suite. I have not heard of them doing that. There was one time where I saw someone going up in a tour. I know every once in a while for cast members, they gave an option where you could get like a tour, but it was not a thing to get to do that. Like, it was very, very, very rare, and I feel like she makes it seem like it's more of a chance than it really, really is. She does also admit that those things are so hard to predict, I can't really tell someone how to go about doing it, which I'm glad, because there's not a way someone could ever say, like, or complain or do something in order to get that. I feel like it's so random. I honestly have never heard of any guests being given that lately. I think they did that maybe when they were doing the promotion. Again, I don't think that's something that they do nowadays anymore. The other one said, she said there's people give out hats. If you're nice to them, they'll probably give you something for free. Again, I just feel like that's not really true anymore. I just don't really hear of that happening. Again, I could be wrong, this is just my opinion, but I just don't really hear of that happening anymore. I don't hear people doing those things anymore. So to tell guests and to tell the public that they could probably get this, probably meaning there's more of a chance of them getting this than not, I just don't think that's true. And I'm very concerned for current cast members and how this is going to affect them. They do talk about something regarding food, and if something bumps into you or something happens, they'll go replace it for you. This is something I think does happen, but again, it's not as easy as like, oh, you spill your popcorn, which I think they kind of make it sound like that, and I'm worried that, again, this is causing a lot of fear for me, but that guests are going to just like literally get their popcorn, eat most of it, dump a little bit out, and be like, oh my gosh, can I get another one? Which doesn't really happen. I think that they're making it sound like these things happen pretty frequently when they really don't, and yeah, so I'm already concerned at this point, and it just gets a little bit worse. So this is gonna be one of the parts of the video that I'm actually going to include what they say, just because I just feel like I can't even repeat this and do it justice. I want you guys to hear what they say, yeah.
Ooh, you ready? Okay, this is what you can get for free. Because Disney loves to extend the magic and make all the guests happy. You can complain enough to where you could possibly sometimes skip the line to see like Anna and Elsa, or to see Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen. You'd have to complain to the right person.
When we're at the main entrance.
Again, saying you have to complain to the right person is encouraging people to complain, and I feel like most people don't complain in a nice way. I feel like, again, this is something I don't talk about in my videos. I don't think it's necessary to even talk about. That's why I've never really brought it up. Most guests are so wonderful. That's the thing you have to understand. Most guests are wonderful. There are guests that are horribly rude, but the biggest thing that I worry about seeing this video is saying like, oh, if you complain to the right person. Well, who is the right person? I even had someone comment on that post I made saying like, what are your thoughts? They said, I think I showed it to you guys, that they hated that because they are the right person. It was, as a character attendant, it was never fun for me to turn guests away. Let's just say the character was done mean for the night, I had to turn them away. There were guests that were crying, there were guests that were so upset. It was not fun for me. If they complained, like, that doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make anyone feel good, because most likely the thing that they're complaining about is something that you have no control over. I, as a character attendant, had no way to tell them whether or not they could see a certain character. Usually managers probably could. I don't understand that. I don't understand encouraging people to complain and be rude to a cast member when they're literally just doing their job. Like, I don't know. This whole thing just made me really sad. There are parts of it I think that were helpful. I'll go over that too, but overall, I just feel really sad that they're encouraging people to be rude. It's like, do you not remember what that was like for you? And maybe they don't, because they were in entertainment in a role where they probably wouldn't see a lot of that. But as a character attendant, I saw a lot more rude guests than I did as a performer, just because people are excited to see the characters. They're not usually rude to the characters. They're usually rude to parade ops. So people who are guiding people during the parade, and they're the ones that have to tell people, I'm sorry, you have to keep moving because for safety purposes, but the person doesn't understand that. They just see that they're seeing the fireworks and they want to see the fireworks, and they get so rude and mean to those people. And as a character attendant, seeing like ride ops people, like, as I would work with them every once in a while, and they would just get yelled at by guests if the line was so long to be a character. They wouldn't yell at the character, they would yell at the people before being the character who had no control over that. So the fact that they are encouraging people like, oh, if you complain to the right person, like, you'll get to do this. It's just like, that's not necessarily true. And I would absolutely hate for this video to make it harder for people to do their jobs and make it more miserable for them, because they're just doing their jobs. They are just trying to make people happy. And the fact that you were trying to encourage people to complain to them and make their days worse, it just baffles me. I can't, I have no words.
The cast members really are passionate about trying to make magic for everyone. If they can do something, they more than likely will, particularly.
I do like that they do say that the cast members are passionate about making magic for people. That is very true. I think when it comes to making magic, it's not something that's demanded or requested. It was a lot more special to make magic for someone who wasn't expecting it. I mean, if you guys haven't seen my like video series on like crazy guest stories, there's one, I'll just briefly explain it, where there was a family who just wasn't having a good time, and we were able to do so many different things for them to make them feel special, and then come to find out at the end, they were really hurting because one of their family members had passed away and they couldn't be there with them. So the fact that we could do all these special things, they weren't demanding it, they weren't saying, oh, we want to do this, 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 and this. It was just something that we could freely give to them because they weren't expecting it and they weren't saying that we deserve this. It was a gift. And the thing with magical moments is they're truly a gift that cast members can give to you because you're not expecting it. And by telling people these things and what they can say and what they can do, it takes away that from cast members. It's no longer a gift, and it might go away forever, because I know that if guests are seeing these special moments as normal, they're no longer special, and Disney might get rid of them. There's nothing saying like Disney has to do this or they have to do magical moments. There's nothing making them do that. They're just doing it to be nice and to make guests feel special. So if you're telling them to demand these things, it could ruin it for everyone.
What should people do when they meet a princess?
You know, they do give some really good pointers. I do agree with what they said in this section about just being nice to them and talking with them, engaging with them, because I think that overall the interaction goes a lot better when you actually engage with the characters. And I've mentioned that too. I have a video on how to meet Disney characters, because I noticed when I was performing there was a lot of people that just didn't really know how, and I wanted to help them just have a better interaction overall. So I did actually really appreciate this section of the video. The next question they go over is, what should guests avoid? And the guy, I forget his name, is it Tim? I already forget his name, but he says you should avoid characters when park is at capacity because they're trying to like take you away from the rides. I've actually never heard of this, so I don't know if this is true or not, and he's also not in entertainment, so I don't know where he heard that from, but I thought that was kind of interesting because just like I've never heard of this. But some of the things they do say and like what guests should avoid, I did appreciate, so I will say that that's another part of the video that I felt like wasn't that bad. He does say if you see characters like Rafiki or the more obscure characters, that you should know like, oh, I see what you're doing, Disney. That's also not true, because I would say King Louie is a more obscure character. He met regularly in Animal Kingdom. Like, it wasn't because like, oh my gosh, there's so many guests, we need to like distract them. And same with Rafiki. There was times where Rafiki met regularly. So I wouldn't necessarily say that if you see more obscure characters, plus like, how do you define an obscure character? Because there are more rare characters that you can meet. I don't know how I feel about this one. I feel like a lot of tips in this question are great. When the gal says like see all the characters first because they're not there the whole day, that is so true. There are some characters that don't meet the entire day, so make sure to check the app and see which characters are there, especially if that's something that's really important to you. Like, definitely do that before the rides, because the rides are open the entire day.
If all princesses had Twitter, they would hashtag me too.
Another question is, have you ever been asked out in character? And that's when the girl says, if all the princesses have Twitter, they would hashtag me too. Oh man, I don't even really want to touch on this because I feel like it's making a joke out of something that's so serious.
People have attempted to kiss me, both male and female.
Please don't be a creep when you go meet the prince.
Part of this I did appreciate because they were just saying like, hey, like don't be creepy, because I mean there are times where guests will be creepy. When I was working one time, I had a man, adult man, like just try to lay on me, which I thought was really, really weird. So, I mean, I can understand where they're coming from on this. So I think there's some parts of this question that I do appreciate them speaking on, because I feel like not a lot of people have talked about it. I do actually really like the fact that in this question, they talk about the characters are all human, and saying if you inappropriately touch them, there are consequences, because I feel like there are times where that does happen. And I'm really glad that they did say say that just because I feel like sometimes people forget that the characters are human. Well, except for, you know, Mickey Mouse is a mouse. But I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, they are people too. They do have feelings, and just don't treat them like robots, because they're not robots. They would have feelings. So please don't say anything mean or unkind to them, or do anything to them that you wouldn't want someone doing to you. You know, just because performers have a certain role does not necessarily mean they are subjecting themselves to certain actions. I've read horrible comments before on my channel talking about people like, well, you signed up for that job. I did not sign up to be body shamed in any way. No one does. I did not sign up to have people like touch me inappropriately. Like, that's no. Just because they're in that certain role does not mean you have the free range to touch them and do different things with them. So I am really glad actually they did mention that, I will admit. So see, there are parts of this video I'm okay with, and I'm glad. That is one of them. For the question on where do people go to hook up, I'm glad that they talked more about like guests and them seeing guests do that as opposed to talking about like cast members, because I feel like that would just be really weird. I think a lot of people found one of the people in this video who would speak in character a lot. They found it to be really funny, at least from reading the comments. They found that to be cute. And I think a lot of guests who aren't cast members would probably perceive it as that way. And I think on the flip side, a lot of people who were cast members or even performers might not like that, just because that's something that's like, because the person is not in their, oh my gosh, how do I say this without breaking character integrity, even though they did. I feel like it's one of those things that I would never choose to do, even if I'm not like doing my job, just because like that's something that's special to my job. And I feel like even if something as simple as doing the voice for a character when you're not performing ruins the magic, even though I don't think that was like, I'm gonna ruin the magic right now. I don't think that was like the intention, but I think that's one of those things that like a guest might find cute, but then a cast member might not really care for them doing that.
Me and my buddies, the thing was just like finding places to smoke weed, basically. So there was this whole ride that was like called Body Wars, and now it just sits there and nobody guards it. So
okay, and this is the part I really did not like at all, is the guy starts talking about how there's this one part in there's one place in Epcot, which I don't even know, I've never heard of it. It could be still there, I don't know, but saying that basically it's a good place to go smoke weed. I don't think that place is backstage. It sounds like it's on stage, meaning that it's in a place where guests can go to. And the way he puts it, to me, I interpret it as he's encouraging people to go find this place. Like, hey, you can go in there. I mean, let's just hear it.
well, you can have your own body wars, so to speak.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, he basically says, like, you can go find this place and go smoke weed there.
I hope you got to learn a lot of tips and tricks.
All right, bayou. You get it? But it's like bayou, but it's still reference to the bayou.
Anyways, so that is the whole video. Okay, so I feel like I reacted to a lot of it as it was happening, so you guys kind of have my thoughts and opinions. There are parts of the video I really liked and I did appreciate, just because I feel like it's good to say. So I'm kind of glad that they touched on some of those things, like saying like, hey, you know what, these cast members are people too. Like, you should treat them as such, you should treat them kindly. There are other things that they said, and I think they honestly meant this with the best intentions. I don't think their intentions were like, ooh, let's just make some drama, let's just like ruin this for people. I really don't see that as being their intention. I do worry though about some of their comments and how it's going to affect current cast members, especially with things saying like, if you complain to the right person, this is what they'll do for you, because I already see some of that happening, or I did when I was working there, and I don't really want to encourage people to do that, because it's just, again, like I said earlier, this is someone's job, and being a cast member, not even just like a certain role in particular, just as a whole, like, it's just not really fun for people to like, they're going to work, they're trying to make a living. Some of them, this is their dream job, some of them not. Some of the people do have that job as a way to make a living for to support their family. Some people are not in it because it's their dream job and they're just in la la land. Like, not everyone's like that. So I would never encourage people to be rude to other people in a service type industry. It's just like, because you already see it, it's like, why make it worse for people? I guess my overall thoughts on making videos like these. I personally, on my channel, have chosen not to ruin character integrity. I know there are some performers who would probably think I say too much. There are probably some performers out there who say way more than I would ever feel comfortable. The reasoning is, I just feel like a lot of the information is Disney's. I don't feel like I'm entitled to release Disney's information on like how characters do their voices, like where things are located. And I totally understand the curiosity, because I was there too. I remember being a guest, I love Disney, and I always wanted to know more about it. Like, how could I become a performer? And I'll admit, there were times where I was like a teenager and I wanted to do that. My mom would ask them, and like, she definitely shouldn't have done that because it was totally ruining character integrity. But it's just like, you're curious and you want to know. So I always try to create my videos with those people in mind because I was there and I want to be able to share the magic with you because I know a lot of you guys love it and you're so excited and you're curious. Let's be real, you guys are curious as to how it all works. I totally get that. I think there's a way you can do that while still maintaining integrity and still make it magical for people, because one of the reasons I love Disney is because the world is filled with so much garbage and so much brokenness that this is one place that people can go. And that's just something I learned definitely as a cast member, is like, people go to Disney, you have no idea why they're there at Disney. It could be their first time, it could be their last time, it could be their only time, it could be their first time going without a family member. And especially meaning that family that was there and they were having a hard time and they just seem to be not very nice people. But then you found out, oh, this is their first time without their loved one there. You have no idea what people are there. And so you have the opportunity to make that bad stuff go away for a little bit. And that's like really what Disney's about. And they're also about making money. I'll be honest, they're about making money too. But I think it's really cool that they want to make people feel special. They want to have magical moments. And when people are out there trying to ruin it for others by like demanding it or asking for it, it just makes me so sad. So yeah, this is, I didn't really want to make this video, but there's a lot of you that wanted to know my opinion. That is my opinion on this. And I feel like I really wanted to make this video because I wanted there to be another opinion on it. I didn't want it to just be like, oh, like this is how all performers or previous cast members feel. Like, it's not. And I feel like, again, like my opinion isn't the only opinion. There's other opinions too. So I don't know. I think they meant this video to be very lighthearted. I would take it as such. I really wouldn't take the recommendations to complain to people. I don't think it's going to get you anywhere. In fact, like, I know if I was still a cast member, someone was complaining to me, I'd be less likely to help them if they were being rude. So I don't know, just be nice to people. Like, if you're gonna take away anything from this video, just take away like being nice to people, being nice to cast members, because a lot of the jobs at Disneyland, Disney World are very thankless. They are. And I think if you take the moment to really thank and appreciate cast members, they're just going to love it, because a lot of times they do get rude people. So I think if you're gonna take away anything, just take away being nice to people. Don't be rude. Treat them as people. Recognize that like they're people too. They're just trying to do their job. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Honestly, again, I really don't feel like there's any opinions that are wrong per se. Everyone has their own opinion. My opinions don't represent the Disney company. I'll be interested to see if Disney does anything with this video, just because I feel like I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.